The vastness of space had always been a source of awe and terror for the galaxy's civilizations. But to the Vark, the most powerful warlords in their quadrant, the humans were nothing more than a curious anomaly. The Vark had fought countless species, and each one had fallen to their superior technology, strategy, and unmatched military prowess. So when they learned that a primitive species, barely out of their solar system, had been causing ripples in the galactic community, they laughed. Surely, the humans would be no different than the countless species they had conquered before. They were wrong. The Vark launched their assault on Earth with the confidence of hunters closing in on an easy prey. Their massive dreadnoughts filled the sky, blotting out the sun. Their war machines landed with a resounding thud, leaving craters in the ground. Cities fell, military bases were obliterated, and the world seemed on the verge of collapse. But the Vark had underestimated one thing: the human spirit. General Zargoth, leader of the Vark forces, stood on his flagship's command deck, watching the destruction unfold. Pathetic, he muttered under his breath, clenching his clawed fists. This will be over in minutes. These humans are nothing. Yet, as the days passed, something unexpected began to happen. A resistance started to form. Humans, who had once seemed helpless under the alien bombardment, were now mounting counterattacks. They were using their primitive weapons in ways the Vark had never anticipated. At first, it was small skirmishes, guerrilla tactics that the Vark brushed off as nothing more than desperate attempts. But then the humans started to strike in places they shouldn't have been able to reach. Their forces were small, but they were clever. And every time they hit back, the Vark were forced to recalibrate their strategies. Zargoth scoffed. They are learning, but it won't matter. But as the Vark made their way deeper into human territory, something far more terrifying emerged. It wasn't just the humans' ability to adapt, it was their sheer resolve. The Vark had expected the humans to break, to fold under the pressure, but they never did. They kept fighting relentless, even when all seemed lost. On the ground, soldiers rallied under the banner of freedom. They fought with everything they had: old military vehicles repurposed for combat, homemade explosives that tore through Vark warships, and, most importantly, an unwavering belief that they could win. One particular group, led by Surgeon Eleanor Hayes, became a symbol of the human resistance. Her team had been cornered in a small city, their weapons dwindling, their supplies running out, yet they refused to surrender. "We're not dying today," she said, her voice steady as she looked at her team. "We'll make them regret thinking we were weak." And they did. Surgeon Hayes and her team managed to capture a Vark warship, turning their technology against them. The tide of the war shifted. Back in orbit, Zargoth was no longer so confident. His fleet had suffered crippling losses, and reports of human ingenuity and surprise attacks kept flooding in. The humans had adapted, yes, but they had also proven something else. They were willing to sacrifice everything to protect their home. With each passing day, the Vark found themselves losing ground. Their superior weapons and tactics were being nullified by the humans' resilience. The Vark generals were forced to admit what they had refused to believe: fighting humans was not going to be easy. Zargoth stood before his council, his anger boiling over. "We cannot let this continue. The humans are not simply fighting to survive. They are fighting for something greater. We'd have underestimated them, and now we pay the price." Desperation set in as the Vark tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had learned too much. They had become too strong. Their weaponry, once considered primitive, was now being used with lethal precision. On the final day of the battle, as the last Vark warship fell, Zargoth himself was captured. The humans had done it. Against all odds, they had won. Surgeon Hayes stood over the defeated warlord, her face hard but resolute. "We told you it wouldn't be easy." And as the remnants of the Vark forces retreated from Earth, the humans stood tall, no longer a primitive species in the eyes of the galaxy, but a force to be reckoned with.